Hey guys, it's Gio with Beyond Quotas. Today in this episode, we're talking about mindset. So it's our second part from the last week that we touched on, and it's a great topic because it's honestly something that a lot of people have a difficulty understanding. Because do you use your mindset in a negative or positive aspect? And in this episode, we're going to try to teach you a little bit more about how you can really use it in a more positive light. I hope you like it. Have a good one. All right, everybody, welcome back to Beyond Quotas. I hope everyone's having a good morning, afternoon, and evening. We are now talking about mindset as we kind of left off on our last episode. This is going to be the second part of it because we felt like it was a good topic. It was a topic that resonates with many, but not only that, it's something that it takes two episodes to really talk about because there's so much information that you can really share and stories that we can touch on, but more so than anything, it's how can we deliver something valuable for you when you're thinking about mindset, and what can we say that would impact you most when you think about how to be more positive, how to step away from a lot of the negative thought process that exists today in social media, in our culture, in how we've been brought up from from our family members, things of that nature. Those are all stuff that is very negative, and that's part of how your mindset works, right? So I think it's absolutely a great topic, and I feel like even two episodes may not be enough, but we want to make sure that we kind of capture as much as we can, right? So Travis, to you, man, what do you think is the biggest part of someone's mindset aside from what we talked about on the last episode, right? We were kind of touching on the last episode, we were talking about how you look at it from a lens in the gym, for example. We were talking about health, right? When you're in the gym, how your mindset is, how I was touching on a story about when you're there and you're using your mind to really control your body to start lifting weight stronger, actually doing a cleaner rep, stuff like that. What are some other things that you can think of that is valuable when we're talking about mindset?
Well, the thing about mindset, if you look at it, growing up as a child, we've been conditioned to negativity.
Yeah.
We're always constantly told no, or why things can't be done.
Right.
So we start thinking about that, and obviously we talked about this, in another episode before, that your mind has to be. It thinks negatively because it's meant to survive.
Right.
That's its job, to make sure obviously the body survives. So having that idea is, when you think about that, you start thinking about the fact that, like, now, in order for me to get to the positive mindset, I've got to be aware of my thoughts. Like you pointed out, as far as the gym aspect, the more we use a positive attitude, the more it drives home in the grooves of our mind. It's like every time we use it, it's like another rep at the gym. Another rep gets us stronger. Another rep of positivity makes the habit stick. And that's, to get your mind around that. That's kind of the whole idea. Waking up in the morning. How can my day go right? What's great about this day? I saw something about, I think Jay Shetty mentioned it, like, wake up in the morning and your first cup of coffee, act as if it's the best cup of coffee you've ever had in your life. That today is the best day that you'll ever have in your life. Because we're not granted tomorrow. Yesterday is in the past. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Today is the only day we actually have to live. So make it your best day you've ever had. It's funny, like, in social media, and especially in salespeople. I've never understood this, but like you'll see in your sales, in your social media feed, especially Facebook, it's all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
It's all about something. The president did this, did that, or something happened over the weekend that's terrible. My kid did this. At the end of the day, I hate getting on it because it's nothing but negativity. But I'm a part of a handful of groups that, as far as salespeople, and a lot of them I see, like, for instance, like, I see car salesmen, for instance, and they'll post something about, like, a white dude in some New Balances, and all of a sudden we're going to jump on him because he's got quote unquote great credit.
Right.
But it's that idea, like, I'm cherry picking the people that walk in, and not really understanding the fact that everybody walks in. Like, nobody walks into a car dealership just to look around.
Mm-hmm.
No one walks into a furniture store just to look around. Something drove them into the furniture store. I mean,
Right.
there might be that one case out of 1,000 that their wife is next door in Target and they're just blowing off time or whatever. But
Right.
chances are pretty good they walked in for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Having that mindset. Hey, look, you walked into for a reason, rather than saying, they probably don't have any money.
Credit might be bad.
Credit might be bad,
Right.
whatever the case. It's like, look, my job is pretty easy. Is to help you get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a few questions, whatever the case. But I think mindset is kind of a long-winded answer to your question, but mindset is everything. If you can get mindset right, and we're all going to have those days where we just have bad days. Some days are shit.
Yeah.
But
it's how you recover from those days.
Yeah.
Right. That sets you apart from the other days.
That's it.
Yeah.
But having those days, having the mindset of things are going to go right, meditating on those things, and we'll give you guys some different ways to actually do it, but because there's a lot of different ways out there, but yeah, getting that right is key to everything in life. If you whatever you want in life, it starts with being positive. Nothing great has ever been achieved without positive enthusiasm.
Yeah, and I think, to that point about some of the examples that you gave out, one of the other things that is really kind of crucial is when you're talking to somebody as a family or a friend that you trust in, think about who you're talking to at times, right? And think about what those conversations sound like on a day-to-day. How often do you talk to somebody on the phone and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is just negative? Their day just went horribly wrong. Work was really, just a rough patch. Their relationship is in shambles. All those things are so common whenever you're talking to somebody. I mean, I can't tell you, if I was to think about a percentage, I would say 75% of the time that I speak to a family member, a friend, a coworker, things of that nature, it always starts with a negative, right? It's never, whenever they ask me, oh, how are things going? How's everything? Great. Yeah. I mean, I got air in my lungs. I got, my family's happy and healthy. And, the day looks pretty good, and I'm pretty busy today. How about you? Oh man, things are just really rough today, man. I had a customer fire here. I had an issue with my daughter there, and and yeah, those things happen, right? Those things absolutely happen, but it's how you come out of it and how you mentally go about it that changes the way that the outcome will be. Because if you go into it simply with this attitude that is completely negative and your mindset is not strong, you're going to find that it starts really impacting you as an individual. Not only are you going to be a person that's going to be frustrated with the situation, but you become frustrated with yourself. You become frustrated with everyone around you. And then that creates an impact to how people perceive and see you as a person. And I can only imagine that many people don't wish to be seen as within a negative aura, right? As a person that just resonates negativity. Like, that's just not, that's not for me. That's not for you. And I think that's many people, at least in the crowd or the people that we're talking to, the individuals that are paying attention. That's not the mindset. That's not the things that we're focused on. And reality is, when you think about negativity and you think about how you really adopt it from others, it's how you resist it that makes you a better person. Because if you're an individual that it just absorbs that information and takes it and lets it almost become a virus to you, it will take you. right? And so those are the things that you have to pay attention to, and those are things that we're talking about today because it's mindset. And one of the key things that really helps with that, and I found it very valuable, is we were talking about meditation. You touched on that. Meditation is fantastic, right? There's some individuals out there, and we were kind of touching about this earlier before we got on this, but meditation is seen as a positive for most of my life that I've known it. Mm-hmm. And it's not until most recently, and this is just because of social media and the culture and things that we're in today, there's always somebody out there that has to put something negative to anything that can be positive, mm-hmm. right? Because there's a business to be had from that. I guarantee you there's probably a following of people that want to know something more negative about meditation. Mm-hmm. And then they feed off of that, right? But think about it. Take 5 minutes, 10 minutes out of your day in the morning that you normally would not. If you wake up just 5 or 10 minutes more for yourself, now it doesn't have to necessarily be meditation. It can just be for yourself. Give yourself those 5 or 10 minutes. You will see how much it impacts your mindset because you've now allowed yourself to think about it and not feel so clustered with the thought of what you have to do next. But now you're actually paying attention to yourself and giving yourself that time. That makes a tremendous adjustment to your mindset, right? And that's how I look at it. So.
Well, I agree. You touched on it, but why is it that when someone comes along and they're excited, they're positive, enthusiastic, we gravitate towards them? Mm. Why do we go to motivational speeches and get the hoorah? Motivation doesn't last. Mm-hmm. So why do we do this? Because we ourselves are so bogged down with negativity that's a breath of fresh air that we want that. And if we just get the idea that people want us to be positive, people want to get more. So if you look at the fact of people gravitating, you'll have people that want to work with you, mm-hmm. that want to do business with you, that want to mentor you, they want to be around you, and you'll create that following. And even if you're just you don't really talk too much, you'll still have that because the interaction when you get that interaction with somebody, and this is the pivotal thing. Like if you get someone with you and they feel better about themselves than they did before you got there, mm-hmm. they're going to remember that. They're going to want to reach out to you. Hey, let's get together. Let's do something. I want to be around that. That's how my following or the people I hang around, I choose to hang around with, that's the requirements.
Right.
Do I get excited when I'm around you? Or do you mention something that's going on in your life that sucks? Mm-hmm. And it's funny, it's an age-old proverb. Obviously, a lot of people have said it, but we become what we think about.
Right.
Getting your mind around positivity, getting your mind focused in on your goals. You mentioned obviously the meditation. Mm-hmm. Something else we can do is gratitude journals. That's something I do I'll be completely honest with you. When you first start doing gratitude journals, what's the things that you're grateful for? Mm-hmm. You start listing off the things: the roof over my head, air in my lungs, food on my table, relationships. I guess I got a pretty good job. Well, damn, what else? We don't think about these things on a daily basis, so that's not apparent to them. But having a gratitude journal forces you to start thinking other things. Mm-hmm. Well, damn, my car is an old beater, but it gets me to and from work.
Right.
It hasn't exploded yet.
And if you think about it, there's people that are all of a sudden then you start thinking, oh, you're in third country. You're walking barefoot to go get a jug of water from a pump, just to be able to take a bath or, for the week, you know what I mean? So you have a beater that takes you A to B. That's a luxury for many others, right?
The vast majority of the people that are living, now don't get me wrong, there's poverty-stricken people. Obviously there's,
sure.
There's people, I'm not going to demean this in any way, and I want you to kind of, understand that, but if you have a job, even if it's minimum wage, mm-hmm. you are actually more wealthy than the vast majority of the world around the globe.
Right.
Obviously, world and globe's kind of synonymous. Whatever.
Didn't want to point it out, but okay.
Yeah. But think about that. Mm-hmm. you can provide, as long as you can provide. Obviously, you have stable means to provide for yourself or your family, whatever the case. That's something to be excited about.
Right.
The fact that you live in a free country, that's something to get excited about. The fact that this table that we're sitting at, someone decided to make this, put the labor in to make this, so we can be comfortable in front of this camera and these microphones. People decided to make those to make this come true. We're able to pursue our dream. There's a lot of stuff you can be grateful for, and that's the thing, that having that gratitude journal forces you to start writing. Well, let me start thinking about it.
Right.
And there again, it just setting your mind to what's good, focusing on what's good. Again, we become what we think about. The more stuff, and that's why a lot of us are negative, because we were conditioned early on to be negative.
Correct.
So we've had more practice at that than we have in positive.
Absolutely.
And just like any habit, obviously, it takes practice, a daily concentration on doing that. But yeah.
Yeah, and one of the other things I wanted to touch on is a point that you made about, when you're kind of picking and choosing the individuals that you talk to and stuff like that, because who you surround yourself with really makes an impact, right? You to the point that you made, we've been conditioned, since birth, to think in a more negative light than we do positive. And part of that conditioning takes practice, takes exercises that you do as a consistent repetition that you're doing, right? Same goes for you having to do that and instill that in your mindset as well as in your daily life and activities for you to change over to be more positive. But one of the things that I really pay attention to is if a person comes to me with a negative conversation, I listen to it to a point where I want to see them start turning it to a positive. If they turn it to a positive, then I appreciate that, because in the end, they do see that there is light at the end of the tunnel, per se, right? But when it's a person that's negative and just stays on that negative path and almost wants to influence you to feel their pain and want you to be in pain with them, is where it makes it difficult for me. And it should make it difficult for many people, because you have to pay attention to those things. Now, if it's a person, like I said, that drives home the fact that they had a really bad day, but they said, but you know what? That bad day really, the one thing that was really great about it at the end of that day was that this whatever opportunity came up. And now I have such, great things that I can do with that, whatever, but now it's positive.
Well, that's the thing, is like, and that's so critical, is the fact that, like, what's good about this? I just got T-boned and my car's totaled. What's good about this? Well, great. Now I can, take the bus. It's going to be a lot cheaper. I don't have to pay for gas. I might actually get to work on time, because I don't have to fight the traffic because the train never stops. Like small things. What's good about this stuff?
Right.
I was, healthy, whatever the case. But I love the fact that, like, if you can turn, and it's funny because the naysayers and negativity, you can actually get them out of your life by one simple thing. Start fixing their problems.
That's true.
They don't want to talk to you anymore because they want to freaking
they just want to stay venting, right? Yeah, exactly.
Let's go ahead and solve this real quick.
Right. And that's why I make that point, because it's absolutely possible, right? So, we talk about, okay, stay positive and stuff like that. And I'm sure many people are sitting out there and be like, come on, man, let's be honest. Is that even, reality? And it is. It's because, and if you're thinking that way and those are your comments, it's because you go back to your point. You've been conditioned to think negatively for so long. Think about taking a shorter window of time to try to condition yourself to be positive and realize the value that comes out of that, right? And not only that, but if you really start focusing on the points that we're trying to make, that yes, okay, it's hard to be positive because we've always been so negative, or why is negative seen so bad? Well, because it instills this just oozing bad affirmations and poor thought and mindset that it makes it hard for a person to really want to rely on you, and you think about the core of the people that are surrounding you. But then that's why we're also saying it's fine to talk negatively. as long as you turn it positively. So we're not saying that you shouldn't talk negatively. What we're saying is that it depends on how the outcome comes out of that conversation and how you turn the tide for it to be positive, that it makes most sense. I know I was kind of going on a little random rant there, but it makes the most sense, right? So, mindset it's a tool that is powerful. It makes a lot of adjustments to you personally, physically, mentally. We talked about this on the last episode with the health part and aspect of it, how it can make some transitions to you when you're physically making a push for something, how your mind can control that, as well as it can control many other things. So those are the things that we want you to keep in mind when you think about mindset, right? Is staying positive. Any last remarks?
No, just kind of recap as far as the list of things to do. And again, there's a lot of stuff that out there that we can do. But, the meditation aspect, taking time for yourself, whether it's clearing your thoughts or whether it's, visualizing success and how the day's going to look. And that's kind of one in the same, but it's also two separate things. Obviously, you want to make sure that you see success and believe it. And that's a huge proponent as far as success in general, but also the positive mindset is, believing that something like that is attainable. The gratitude journals,
right?
The taking inventory of who you surround yourself with. And personally, I'm a Christian, but I don't push that on anybody. But it's a lot of my Christian friends and brothers and sisters. They'll say well, it's not Christian to get rid of people out of your life, cut people out of your life. I'm like, yeah, it is. I think it's said throughout the Bible that obviously there was two sides, and he pointed out the fact that Jesus had 12 disciples and surrounded a small group. But the biggest thing,
he's not trying to push Christianity on you, but by no means.
But the biggest thing is you have one life to live.
Right.
Surround yourself with people that one are better than you, that make you better. One that obviously lift you up, get excited about your goals and encourage you, and others that play golf with, because we all need to play golf.
You always need that, all right.
But I mean, that's the thing. Is wake up in the morning and focus in what is going to go right today. What can I do? I write my goals down, do whatever the case, but focus in. Make sure your thoughts are focused in on what's good in every situation. And the more practice you have, now there's going to be times obviously that you say, "Hey, damn, I missed that one."
Right.
But you can go back and correct it. But the more times you practice, just like in the gym, the stronger it's going to get.
Right. Agreed. Well, on that note, guys, we're going to wrap up our second session, or we consider kind of a little mini series around mindset. I think it was a good topic. There's so much more around it, but we feel like some of the key deliverables that we gave out really could help in just your everyday life and path as you can kind of start practicing to get more on that positive mindset if you are an individual that really focuses on negativity more often than not. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Appreciate it. Have a good one.